housing is not an excuse because this is a real job, and if you get a real job somewhere, you're gonna have to figure that out.
Oh, that's.
We were like,
I suppose.
okay. When I get a real job, I'm not gonna have to pay for 2 houses.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're both probably planning on staying in Muncie for next summer to like wait out our lease and work and whatever happens.
Oh, that's right. You've got the lease.
Oh yeah, Miranda's going to Europe for the summer.
Maybe.
Are
I'm gonna
ya?
try to. I'm gonna try to like spend next summer in Europe, just like, well, not even just Europe, just traveling like outside of America. Just so I can.
Do you have
do
somebody
that.
you're going to go with?
Maybe. I don't know.
After being in a youth hostel, you can see what fun and easy thing it is to do.
It is way easier to travel than I
Yeah,
thought it was, especially in like places other than America.
yeah.
Because it's really expensive to travel here.
Well, the youth hostels weren't that expensive, I didn't think.
No, they're not.
When I was online looking at them, they're about $50.
I think we paid like $25 a night.
Oh, that's even
Yeah,
better.
it was really cheap. We had a couple of people we met though that were like, they were talking about, I think like Thailand, that they stayed in a hostel for like $5 American.
Oh,
So
yeah.
everything there is just
Exchange
like
rate.
so cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not as popular a place to go to. But,
Go to
Lori-
England.
Lori's
Go to
son.
England now, where the pound is down to about $1.
Lori had a friend in Germany, and she and her husband, he's a police officer, and she's a school administrator. And they travel all over in the summer, now with backpacks and youth hostels. They love it.
That would be the goal, yeah.
That'd be
That
awesome.
would be really fun.
Yeah.
I'd be a little worried
I don't know, I
right
guess-
now about getting there.
Huh?
Yeah, just because of the world situation. I'm a little nervous about flights these days.
Yeah. Hopefully in a year it'll be a little bit more chilled out over there. Or
Yeah.
it'll be way worse. So,
Or we'll just be used to it.
yeah.
And you have to say, well, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. I mean, the chances of you really getting involved in a terrorist attack are still less than being hit by lightning.
Did Emily tell you that my cousin's daughter had an apartment right around the corner from the Paris attack? Fortunately, she was in London when it happened.
I think she might have told me about
Yeah,
that.
and the hardest thing was getting back into the country.
I know.
Well, but this is Julia, Emily.
Yeah.
But you know that she also got involved in that attack at UCLA. She was on campus. She was.
She was
Her,
across campus,
her parents were telling us
but
that
everything was on
she was
lockdown.
she was all the way across campus.
And they didn't know what was going on, so they didn't know if it was near them, far
So
away
they,
from them, or
yeah,
what.
they were involved in.
But
the
we told
lockdown.
her, just let us know where you're going next, because we're not going.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awful.
That could be a lot of fun. I thought about doing it after I had taught for 2 years. But at that time, I didn't know anything about youth hostels, and I didn't have anybody to travel with. And I was very reluctant to go on my own as a female. You just didn't do it then.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law introduced me to a guy who wanted to go, and I went out on one date with him and thought, I'm not traveling with this guy. He's got more in his mind than
Europe
travel.
would be cool though, because you get a Eurail pass,
Yeah.
and I think you can easily go between all the EU countries. So that's
Well, you
27.
could. I don't know if London's going to be a part of it or not.
No, it
Very
won't.
good.
But there's still 27 countries in the EU.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is so much closer together. It's a
Yeah.
lot easier to get
Yeah.
from place to place.
Yeah.
I guess I keep thinking about needing to like save money next summer, but if I, got money for graduation, it would be possible to do something. I keep forgetting that that's a thing that could be substantial.
I think I worry about bringing people with me that I'll want to kill by the time I'm done traveling.
Yeah. Yeah, it better be somebody really
Who I
compatible.
really, really like, yeah.
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 It's a short list.
There may be a group on campus that
I think they do have some,
is a travel group.
yeah.
I would think the way young people travel now, there would be something.
Well, and it's kind of almost a tradition to, after you graduate from college, to go someplace.
I don't think it's a tradition. Most people get a
Well,
job.
okay. No, I'm talking about the summer in between.
Yeah, I'd say most people get a job. They got loans to pay off.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people can't afford it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. When you hear about the amount of money people owe and they got, you know how lucky you are, Emily?
I do, yeah.
I hear about the student loans that people have.
Yeah.
God, that's the rest of your life.
Yep.
Are you going on loans?
I'm one of those. Yeah.
You're one of those.
One of those.
Wow.
Pretty exciting stuff.
There's
Well,
actually
Hillary and Bernie got together while you were gone and have come up with if your family makes $125,000 or under, you would go to school tuition free. Of course, that has to pass Congress.
Yeah.
which
First,
is
you
never
gotta get
going to happen.
elected.
That would be great for the people below us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
It's
going
like
to
us or
not.
people who are
But
like
I'm thinking
5
that
or 6 years older than
they're
us.
also
just
going to
screwed.
come up with some way to defray some of the cost of school for those of you.
Yeah,
who
what
go
might help
away.
you if you've got loans is if they also like lower the interest rates on the loans and stuff.
They're
That's the
making
worst
money
part
on it.
about it.
Well, because what kind of sucks is they're like looking at all this like free college and stuff, which is amazing, but it's like a lot of people who are going to school on loans in our generation, it's like the generation below us is gonna, you know, reap the benefits of the fact that we had a really crappy system to go into.
Well, it has to start someplace.
Yeah, I mean you do, yeah, but like help out our generation too, the people who are.
Well, I think that's one of the
Mhm.
things that they're looking at is some way to defray the cost for people who are already in debt.
Yeah, there might be something in it for you. There's a big article in actually this month's Consumer Reports about student debt, and the quote on the cover is, "Pretty much going to college ruined my life." And this is from a woman who's now 32, and she's got $152,000 worth of college
Where
debt.
the heck did she go to school?
I don't know, and she's a nurse. She gets paid, you know, maybe 40 or 50,000, but she doesn't have a fabulous job.
Oh, that's the thing is like, I think I'll probably be, I don't know, it depends on this year, I guess, but I think I'm probably going to be between like $25,000 and $30,000 in debt, which is a lot better than a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's
But-
manageable.
By the time I end up paying off all of my student loans, I'll have ended up paying, you know, close to
Yeah.
$100,000 just
Yeah.
because of the interest rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if there was something in new laws that reduced the interest on student debt, that could be enormous.
Or
benefit.
forgave some of it.
Yeah.
Or
I know.
yeah, I don't know about
At least
forgiving.
I think in Indiana there are teacher like forgiveness.
I had that through a government, a federal government.
Oh,
Yeah,
if you
Where
teach in
you
Indiana, you get part of your loans
they'll
forgiven.
forgive some of it.
Ah, yeah.
For the first 3 years of teaching.
To keep you here.
Unfortunately, I taught 2 and then didn't teach the 3rd.
Yeah.
But I got the loan forgiven for those 2 years. Or I guess I didn't have to start paying on it for those 2 years.
Like a
They
recruitment
gave you a
tool.
chance to get on your feet.
Okay, New York trip. So you left late at night.
We left at like 8 or 9 p.m. on the 1st. We got there
From Muncie.
From Muncie. We ended up getting there at like 9 a.m. on the 2nd.
And you did drive straight through, pretty much?
Yeah. We went to a little performance thing that Isaac had at 11 that day, and then we went back to the house we were staying at and napped for a couple hours. And then we saw Isaac's show that evening, which was really good.
The very first night you saw a show.
Yeah, that we were there, yeah.
Who from his family went?
Kara, his sister, and his grandma. Yeah. So they went the same night we did, actually. And then that was was that Thursday? No, that was Friday. Saturday? I don't know. That was Saturday.
Saturday.
So Sunday, Miranda and I went into the city, just the 2 of us, and we saw Fun Home on Broadway, which was amazing.
Super good. There's a lot of good theater.
We saw,
That was
yeah,
good. That
yeah.
was good.
We went to the theater where Hamilton is, and we stood outside the stage doors because a lot of the time at least a couple of them will come out. I mean, it's like a thing, like, because they can exit a different way, but there's stage doors that they can come out and like see everybody. We waited for an hour and a half, and none of them came out because it was a holiday weekend and it was a matinee and everyone just wanted to go home apparently. But it still kind of was crappy because there were probably 45 or there were probably 100 of us out there. You think?
At least
100 people out there. We had a really
big
good
crowd
spot.
also.
We stood there for an hour and a half and nobody ever came out.
which we had standing room tickets for Fun Home.
Yeah.
So the show was like almost 2 hours, and we were standing that whole time just watching the show. And then we like went out and stood outside this stage door, and we were just like, I need to sit.
Yeah, so we went, got lunch, and sat down for a while. And then we...
Well, okay, Fun Home.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of it. I've
It,
heard of a Crazy House, but never a Fun
Fun Home won Best Musical
Last year.
last year, so the year before Hamilton. And it's essentially about this woman who is like, she's like going back through her memories the whole time, but like she's a lesbian and her dad was like closeted gay, and it's like kind of the story of like her relationship with her dad, because her dad and her mom were married, but like he was like very much in denial, and like her like realizing who she was and simultaneously kind of realizing who her dad was, and just like her, it's the story of her relationship, but the main girl is played by 3 people, so it's like her who's looking back, and then teenage, like college aged her, and then a little girl who plays her. There's 3 little kids in the show who were all more talented than anyone I've ever met. All these children were so good.
That's why they say just never play opposite.
Well, how would
kid
that
unless
be?
you're
You're,
really good.
you're
Yeah.
a child actor and you're on Broadway already.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a lot
Where do
of
you go from there?
there's a lot of kids on Broadway right now. I mean School of Rock has
A
like,
bunch of kids.
you know, at least 20 kids, yeah, and there's Matilda is on Broadway right now. Finding Neverland has little kids in it. There's a lot of little kids right now. So that was really cool, and it's one of the smaller Broadway theaters. It's not one of the like huge ones, but it was cool because it's in the round.
Oh.
So it's like really nice seating and like an oval, and then the stage itself is really cool. It's just like down, but stuff can like go down under the stage, and there's a bunch of places like that, and you know people are like right up on the stage. So it was a really cool experience. I mean, I don't think it was the big like grand Broadway musical that you like think of, but it was a Broadway show, and it was smaller, and it was a little more intimate, and it was good for the fact that we had standing room tickets because it was a smaller theater, and it was actually, I mean, it wasn't bad, it wasn't terrible. Standing room was like, the view itself wasn't bad at all. Yeah.
The theater round is neat, what I've been to anyway, because you feel like they're right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not somebody way up there.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a musical. Was there an orchestra or was it?
Yeah, they were on stage. It was cool. You could see them.
Oh.
Yeah.
This guy switched through like 5 different guitars on the show.
It was really cool, yeah. And it was cool because there was a point where, like, the mother in the show was, like, playing a piano. They had, like, a big grand piano. But, like, right over here was the orchestra, and you could see the guy playing. He was actually playing it. And did you see that?
I didn't even
And she,
notice
like,
that.
knew the notes to play, but she wasn't actually playing it. You could see the guy with the piano. So it was, like, it was kind of cool because they
So
weren't,
that's
like,
how it's done.
they weren't trying to hide it at
Sort of-
all, you know?
Yeah. Sort of give you a glimpse of how it
Yeah.
works behind the scenes.
Yeah. So that was really
Now,
cool.
did you enter a lottery for that, or did
We
you just
entered
go
lotteries
to-
for all the shows. We actually thought we had a really good shot at the Wicked lottery because most of them do digital lotteries, so you enter online and they email you whether you won. Wicked has a digital lottery and an in-person lottery. So we entered the digital one, and then we went, and for the in-person lottery, they take names for a half hour, and then they draw a name at the end of the half hour, and you have to be there when they draw it.
So you think
So
the chances would
we
be-
went, and there were maybe 40 people
There weren't
there,
that many people.
and they drew like 8 names. And we both had our name in for 2 tickets. So we actually thought, I mean, I've seen Wicked a bunch of times. Miranda's never seen Wicked, but like seeing Wicked on Broadway would have been incredible,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
We thought we had a really good shot, but we didn't get it. It was a bummer, but it was kind of like, we were trying to decide, we didn't win any of the lotteries, but there were a bunch of shows that had like student rush tickets that were like $40, and that was kind of our plan B. So then it became like, what show out of these that we can watch for like $40 do we want to see? At first we didn't want to do standing room, but Fun Home was actually right next door to Wicked, And like just kind of standing there when we were waiting for the Wicked Lottery, we just started realizing that we both really wanted to see Fun Home. And we looked up a picture of the theater and like some reviews on people who had done standing room to see like if it was worth it, and it was only $30. And we, you know.
So
saw
it wasn't
Broadway
like
show.
you defaulted to that. You looked at them and you really wanted
Yeah,
to go.
there were we had it
But you
narrowed
hadn't
down.
heard of it before either, had you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fun Home won Best Musical 2 years ago. I mean, it's a pretty big show. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there were any shows on Broadway that we didn't know at least a decent amount about. I mean, some of them we didn't know enough about, but like most of them we knew enough about to make the decision. We had it narrowed down to like 4 shows that had Student Rush tickets and kind of decided between that.
So the theater, you didn't, of course, get into the theater where Hamilton was.
No, we were
But
outside.
you were
Though.
outside. Was it cool? Was it huge? Was it?
I mean, it was a Broadway theater. It's funny, some of the theaters are like big and grand outside, and some of them are housing like big, or big shows, but they kind of just look like
But
a
the
theater.
entrance is small.
It kind of looks like the outside of IRT almost, Actually, I think the craziest theater, other than School of Rock, was pretty, like the outside of School of Rock was
Huge.
amazing. But Finding Neverland, the outside of that theater was beautiful. The Hamilton Theater is cool because they have, I don't know if you've seen it, but all the like doors are painted. They're gold, but with like the silhouettes of the characters. It's like kind of this famous image at this point. And so it was cool to see all the doors because, anybody who goes to Hamilton takes pictures outside of silhouette doors. But yeah, I mean, we obviously would have seen Hamilton over anything if we could have.
Well,
but,
sure.
Did they have standing room for that?
No. They don't even have Student Rush. I mean,
any tickets at all, unless you pay like $1,000.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're ridiculous.
they do have a lottery. If you win the lottery, it's $10 for tickets.
Oh,
But so many people, it's a digital lottery, so many people enter it every time
yeah.
that, I mean, the chances that you're going to win that lottery
And
are,
they can't be pulling that many
right.
winners either.
Yeah.
Because the tickets are literally in the thousands.
Yeah. The tickets themselves,
Especially
if you
since
buy
Lindsay
Retail
them,
Lohan
price
yeah.
is not that bad, but the thing is, it's like sold out for like a year.
Yeah.
So,
So
only
it's
people selling them
it's all aftermarket stuff.
Yeah.
You're not buying them from the box
is like
office.
crazy expensive.
Yeah. And the guy Miranda has announced he's leaving, right?
Yeah, he's
so,
leaving like
so
this
the
week.
prices went up some more.
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah, for these last few performances, I'm sure you had
I'm
to-
sure for his last performance, you're gonna drop at least a few $1,000s.
Yeah. At least, yeah.
That's crazy.
I know about it, and I've heard, and I've seen this guy interviewed on TV, and he's obviously a genius. But I'm not sure I would really like it. It's a
Really?
rap opera,
It is-
right? Or rap
Yeah, it is.
musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not a rap fan.
I'm not either. I mean, it's not like rap. It's still musical theater.
Well, you've seen clips of it. It's like rap.
Oh, I have the entire soundtrack memorized. I promise. It's still
It's
musical
very, like-
theater.
It's very like lyrical bursts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is a lot of rap to it, but a lot of it, there are a few songs that are more in particular, very much rap, but like,
Yeah.
and there are some that are very much just like musical theater songs.
I would
But a
almost
lot of
relate it
it-
to slam poetry more than rap.
Yeah.
To some extent.
It's very poetic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I'm in no danger of going to see it, so but I'm not sure. I guess if I had the chance to see it, I would certainly go. How would you pass that up?
Yeah.
But
I'm thinking about setting a little bit because the Chicago tickets are like $60 to $100, which really isn't awful. I'm thinking about setting a little bit of money aside when I get my refund so that, when I get a chance to go, I can.
yeah, and $60 to $100. I mean, that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
The thing is, you wouldn't be seeing the original cast.
Right, but at
I'm
this
sure
point,
they do a good
you're not
job.
going to see the original cast anyway because
Yeah.
they're all
You've
leaving.
you've seen Wicked a bunch of times. You never saw the Broadway cast,
Right, yeah.
So yeah. And we saw some place and some things in San Francisco. What did we see? We saw Rent. We saw Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah. And we saw make it.
Phantom is crazy because it's been on Broadway since '86.
Something like that.
It's the longest running Broadway show, and it's been in the same theater. Like,
That's not a continuous.
yes,
run,
it has been
Really?
consistently on
Only-
Broadway since '86.
Only show on Broadway that's been running that long.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
and Chicago has been on.
Since like 90s.
Since the 90s, yeah. They're the two like longest Broadway. They've just been there that whole time.
I mean, they obviously like change out the people.
The cast.
Yeah.
Well, but I thought what happened is they'd have a run, then they'd stop, then they'd have a revival.
That's usually what happens.
That's usually what happens. Yeah,
But Phantom is
has been
the
running
longest
straight.
running show.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the time the revival will be like a whole new director, a whole new set,
Yeah,
whole new
and
like
kind of a
idea.
different-
Phantom has been the same, like other than like switching out actors. Phantom has been the same for.
I don't get that. I didn't like it.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like it very much.
It changed.
We would have liked it better had we had different seats, so you're sitting in the nosebleed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I
It
still.
was hot.
Phantom was also like it changed. I mean, it changed theater in a lot of ways. Like a lot of the things that Phantom
It was
did were
very-
new for its time.
Yeah, it was original when it came out,
Mm-hmm.
but.
We also went to the one that had the brooms and the garbage cans.
Stomp.
Stomp.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
That sounds
That was
good.
fun.
Yeah, that was good. That was fun. But I wasn't that big on Rent either. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old.
I liked Rent. But I like Wicked the best.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So a continuous run. Wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And Finding Neverland. That was a movie, was it not?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about the guy who wrote Alice in Wonderland. No.
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
Fan.
Yeah, that was on our shorter list of like things that we were gonna see when we narrowed stuff down, for sure.
Who was in the movie? Was it Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think he was in it.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was a play.
Mm-hmm.
The play first. Okay, so you did all this stuff pretty early in the trip.
So that
When
was.
you got there,
Mhm.
you went to something, you took a nap, and you went right. Oh, the next day you went into the city.
Next year we went to the city. We saw that show. We.
So let
by
me
the-
ask you, how you got into this? I mean, Isaac knew how to get in the city, right?
Mhm.
So he coached you.
You just take a train. It's just you.
It just goes right
you-
to the Grand Central
It's
Station.
not
Yeah.
tough.
No, there's a stop about 10 minutes away from where we were staying. You get on it for about an hour, and you get off at Grand Central. It's
Did he go
$22
with you?
round trip.
He went with us the second day.
Yeah. So the first day we were in the city after the Broadway show, or after the show, after the show and Hamilton and like waiting outside Hamilton and eating, it was evening, definitely. So we went to a couple shops and then we walked to Central Park, but it was dark. So we saw the Lennon Memorial, which was very cool, but it was dark. And there were a lot of rats in Central Park at night. So many
Oh, yeah?
rats. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'd been standing for so long that we were both like pretty wiped. It was at like 10, we got an Uber back to Grand Central. We ended up having to wait a little over an hour for our train, and then we got back. And then on the 4th, we went into the city with Isaac and Kara, and Isaac kind of led the way and showed us all the cool stuff that he'd been doing. So he showed us like where he'd been rehearsing. We went into Times Square. We saw the Statue of Liberty.
You didn't go out to the island. Just saw it.
We took a ferry that went like past it, but we didn't go on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it impressive? I've seen it
It
from a
was
distance,
cool.
but
It's cool. Yeah.
It's smaller than you think it
It
is.
is.
yeah.
I mean, when you get on the island, because I went when I was like in 7th or 8th grade.
Mhm.
Like a trip, I just went for like a day, and we went on the island, and like up close, it's huge.
Mhm.
But like as soon as you get like 200 feet back, you're like, oh,
I was
this
telling
looks
them,
very
It's,
amazing.
I think
It's like Mount Rushmore.
I was just going to say the same thing, like Mount Rushmore. And if you get way back from it, you go, really? That would be bigger.
That's it?
yeah.
Yeah, I was so disappointed with Mount Rushmore.
When we got up close, it was huge and amazing, I
Yeah.
thought, but
But from my vantage point,
I don't know.
was small and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the movies, they always have the right camera angle, so they make
Yeah.
it look like it's this
Yeah.
magnificent, like.
Yeah, but remember, it was built in what, 1807? Or am I confusing it with the Eiffel Tower? I mean, it's old, so the technology didn't support huge freestanding
Right.
things like that.
That's like, well, we saw Grand Central Station, and I was just like in awe because I was like, the fact that this was built, I mean, it had to have been at least like 100 years ago, right?
Well, I don't know, a long time. Well, I was going to ask you about that because I was in Grand Central Station, I don't know, quite a few years ago, and I was really impressed with that place.
I'm sure it's about the same.
All the
Yeah.
marble and the size of it.
The statues that are just like
Yeah,
along
yeah.
everything.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
We also saw the 9/11 memorial.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you went down to Ground Zero?
Yeah, well, it's technically not Ground Zero anymore because it's the memorial.
That was your phone.
They've finished the memorial, so it was Ground Zero when there was still all the rubble, but it's completely clean in the memorial
Well,
now.
it's not called Ground Zero? Okay. So what do you call it?
not my phone.
9/11 Memorial.
Yeah.
Memorial?
It was really impactful. I mean, it was simple, but it was very, very powerful. And seeing the new World Trade Center right next to it
Yeah.
was really amazing too.
Which is the new World Trade Center. Is it done?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Shows you how much
huge.
I
It is.
It's huge.
And the pool. There's a big pool.
It's like a pool. Like that's what the memorial is. It's kind of like almost like a fountain.
Yeah, it
Actually,
goes. It's like
I
a big
took a little
hole.
video of it. If you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
really
What it
cool.
was.
It's like perfectly simple, you know.
Norman, why don't you sit?
Nothing
between
takes
us?
away from
I'll sit
the
between you.
impact of what it was.
It's just
Right.
like a real short little
Oh,
thing.
behind
but- You can come over here.
Here, Norman, sit between them. I'll go around back.
That's what I was gonna do.
It's like 10 seconds long.
And
it's
we'll walk, yeah,
not very
making a big
impressive.
deal out of this.
Do you want to just
Oh, yeah, the pool.
There's two
yeah.
of them.
So that like where each of the buildings was, they have. It's just like a fountain, and they put all those American flags there for 4th of July.
it's all
So
the
this
names
is
around
where
it.
one of the towers was?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
they
two
have
of them, and they're the exact size of the base of the tower.
And are they
Basically
identical?
the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Here's Emily with this guy who had birds, and he was like, "Let me put my birds on you."
Oh, yeah.
And then he like literally forced his birds on us, which was fun. And then he said, "I take a minimum donation of $5."
And we were like,
We were like,
"What?"
You made us do this.
Not gonna give you $5 or so.
Remember?
You wanted me to
when
hold
that
your
guy-
bird.
Remember when the guy
I'll give
put
you
the
the
bird
bird.
on me and I think it was in Cartagena, Emily?
Oh.
And the bird pulled the button off my shirt. Remember that?
yeah.
Bird. Okay, well that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What should we do?
Did you go to the beach?
Mm-mm.
The beach.
We went in the city instead of the beach on the 4th. We saw the fireworks, which were amazing.
Very impressive.
So let's see, where is the East River? It must be east.
So on the 4th, you two were alone in the
On the
city.
3rd, we were alone.
Oh,
On the
oh.
4th, Isaac and Kara went in with us.
Did you hear what happened when you, in Central Park, while you were out there?
No.
The guy who stepped on the bomb?
College
You
kid
didn't
jumped,
hear about the guy stepping on the bomb?
college kid jumped down from
Oh.
a rock and landed on a bomb, homemade bomb.
In Central Park?
Yes.
When was this?
In Central Park. A couple days before the 4th.
You were already there.
I really haven't heard the follow-up stories, but they thought it wasn't really a bomb. This is what I heard most recently. They thought it was somebody trying to make experimental fireworks,
Oh.
and either it hadn't gone off or something went wrong, and they just left it there. And then this guy jumped off a rock inadvertently on it, and it exploded.
Did it kill him?
Huh?
No, he had his lower leg amputated though.
No, I don't know about amputated.
He did. That's what I heard.
Okay. So he was hurt, but
Wow.
not killed.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Weird. Oh my gosh. that-
Yeah, we thought, oh great, we told Emily, recommended that she go to Central Park, and then this happened. Now it's a minefield.
Yeah. What else did we do?
I think that's all we did on the
I
4th.
think there was like one other thing.
So I'm trying to think where the East River is. Does that mean it's east of the island of Manhattan?
It's the river
Yeah.
that the Brooklyn Bridge goes over.
So it's between Manhattan and all of the boroughs.
I think so.
My New York
Yeah.
geography's not.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
But where's the Hudson River? See, that's
Oh,
another
that's
big
On the
Inland.
other side.
That's inland.
Oh, that's the other side.
Yeah, it's on the west side, I think.
So why don't they call it the West River? The East River and the Hudson. That's stupid. Okay, and so there was a big barge out in the East River. with
There were
the
2.
fire. 2.
I think there were actually 3, but we could only see 2 of them.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen the San Francisco fireworks off of Pier 39 or that area, so New York's better.
It's more funded for sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
More spectacular.
mhm.
The thing that makes San Francisco spectacular is it's setting it off simultaneously in 2 places.
Yeah, up at Aquatic Park.
And
then down
if
at
you're in the
pier.
right place, you get the whole
Yeah.
shebang.
Yeah. And then we drove back on the 5th.
So you drove out on the 1st, but got there the morning of the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
2nd, 3rd, you were in the city by yourself. 4th was all that stuff, and 5th, you drove back. Boy, that's a quick trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time we got to like the point where we were about to leave on the 5th, we were very like not ready to make that drive again.
Mhm.
It was just a short enough time that we didn't really have time to like mentally, because that drive through the night was rough. Like we had a real hard time with it.
Did you drive in shifts?
Yeah.
But it was hard to sleep when you weren't driving?
Well, we kind of, I mean, for the first bunch of time we were like, well, we'll both stay awake because we feel safer if like both of us are awake and like keeping each other awake. And then it wasn't until like really toward the end that we both started to fade at the same time. So it was like we kind of need to like stay up and keep each other up a little bit.
Yeah. The drive wasn't really as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No. We were just so tired by the time we got there.
Well, we do that thing to Ohio every month, which is 325 or so each way. So you guys were going twice that. I would hate to think of.
Well, when we were coming out, we
Twice.
were driving about 10 hours a day, three consecutive days,
Yeah.
and switching off every 4 hours.
10 or 12. Yeah, except that one day when I drove the whole thing, remember,
Yeah.
and then I was so sore.
Stupidly.
Yeah, I think
That
we
was
both, I
the
mean, I started driving on the way there and she started driving on the way back, and I think both of us, like, when we started, drove for like we drove for like
Well,
a
yeah,
good
you
chunk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you can
then-
do that.
Yeah,
Which maybe is not the smartest way to do it.
yeah.
I mean, what happened with us, now I overdid it, but I started driving and I felt fine, you know, it was fine. What am I going to do? Just sit in the passenger seat? I might as well keep driving.
Right.
But at the end, I could not find a comfortable position, you know, and I was really sore the next day. So I would have been a lot better off to switch off.
We were really sore yesterday driving back because we had done so much walking the past 2 days, and we were both like, by the end of the day of the 3rd and the 4th, we were like super sore, like our feet hurt, we've been walking all day, and then we got up and got in a car the next day, and every time we got out of the car, we were like, oh God, it hurts to walk.
Yeah.
We were just like stiff and sore and not in a good place.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been ideal if you could have stayed like a week. Because 2 things happen. One is you've just driven the long distance and now you have to do it again. And secondly, you try to pack too much into just a few days.
Right. Really, I mean, I feel like we did pack a lot into a couple days, but I didn't feel like overly super rushed. Did you?
No.
I feel like we saw everything for a good amount of time. I mean, like, because stuff like the Statue of Liberty is like, yeah, it was cool to see, and like maybe if we'd had more time, we would have gone onto the island. But I feel like I saw the Statue of Liberty, and like the 9/11 memorial, we were there for 25 minutes, and I feel like I saw that. We were talking. I think if we had another day, or if we go back, we would spend more time doing a little bit more offbeat, like historical stuff, like the mansions of like the founding father, like some of that stuff that still exists. But we got. I feel like we kind of covered the touristy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you did.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to go to the library, the New York Library, and it was closed because it was the holiday.
Oh yeah, sure.
But that building is also
beautiful.
There's also a huge Catholic church there. What? Not St. Paul's.
There's probably more than one. I don't know.
We saw some really nice churches, for sure.
Did you take the subway?
We did.
Did you?
A couple times. Very smelly, very hot.
It's weird because it's like kind of set up. It's set up super similarly to the L in Chicago. The L is just so much nicer. I mean, like even the trains are kind of set up the same way, but it's like.
Well, I think the issue with New York is it's so dense, and there are just
So crowded.
too many people.
Did you feel that when you walked down the street? Just
Well, we went to Times Square. I mean, we were there a couple times, and it was just like people everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, they have so many nice like facilities and areas, but like Miranda went into the restroom at Central Park and said she was like
It was
scarred.
the
It
most
was so disgusting.
Disgusting bathroom
So they've
I've
got-
ever been in, and
got
I
all
don't
these,
think
like,
I will
really
ever
nice-
see a more disgusting.
Yeah, they've got all these really nice things, but there's so many people and there's so much space that they're not like keeping.
They also got a
Everything
homeless
clean?
population using it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, it's like cool that they have so much, but it's also like, would it be more beneficial for them to have a little bit less stuff, but be able to maintain it all a little better? I don't know.
Did you see the UN building?
I don't think so.
You would have known it because of all the flags.
Most
I don't
of
think
Did you see the Empire State Building?
From a distance.
From a distance?
Yeah, we saw like the top of it.
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't been in New York City that many times, but my impression was that overcrowding, that density, is what makes them so rude.
I think
and
so
and they
too.
can, they can be very rude. Hey, move it along, pal. Hey, get the fuck out of
We've
here.
got some
that kind of
really
stuff.
nice people too, though.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
like,
I'm sure.
It's just everything is so fast paced, and there's
Well,
just
and
so many
it's
people.
such a hassle to do anything.
Yeah.
Like on the crowded areas, Times Square is probably one, but I was around, what's the big trade center? Javits Center. And there's just so many people. It's like you want to go across the street. It's a hassle because you can't go across the street. You got to go way down here, and it's shoulder to shoulder people. And then you got to wait for the light, and there's a huge crowd of people. And then, some dipshit up front doesn't go when it says walk, and so now you're worried whether you can walk. And after you do that for a week or so, it's like you're down to your last nerve. So if somebody, says something or is a little bit stupid, you just have no patience for
well,
it.
I'm sure it would especially be frustrating if you lived there and were very used to the fast pace, and then you also have to deal with tourists, like so many tourists who don't know the fast pace. They also want to stop every 10 seconds and look at things, which I mean we were guilty of too.
I'm sure.
But it's like I can see how if you live there, it'd be like, oh my god, just
get
like,
out of
walk.
my space.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I would, if I ever go back, I would like to kind of look at maybe like the other islands and more of the stuff that's not like right in the middle and right downtown.
Well, you guys could go back and
You can go there many times
I mean,
and
it's-
not see everything.
Yeah.
enormous. There's
Yeah.
so much.
And although you
there.
did you hit the high points of the tourist experience, I mean, there's lots more to it than
Well,
that.
and it's cool because I feel like we have done the tourist stuff now, so like I feel like if we go back, I'm not gonna feel as as obligated to go to Times Square. You know,
Yeah,
like I
or
might want
we
to go
could
see
do
a
different
show
things or
still, but
dig
yeah.
deeper. Yeah, when we went to the Grand Canyon, we spent like a week there, didn't we? No. How long did we spend?
I think we were maybe in the motel for 3 nights.
Okay, so I have a friend who, when I told him this, said, "Oh yeah, I've been there." "Oh, when did you go?" "Oh, we were on our way from so-and-so to so-and-so, and we went up to the South Rim, and we spent about 30 or 45 minutes there." So that was his impression of being to the Grand Canyon, and our impression of being to the Grand Canyon was taking tours,
And we walked the rim.
walked the rim, went
Yeah.
down inside, went way up to the one
Yeah,
direction,
Linda and
way
her
down to the
family
other.
went, and they
So-
took the train from outside the park, and it's not cheap to do that, but it's not as expensive as staying in the park.
So you,
And they took the train in. They couldn't have been at the rim for more than an hour before they had to leave. We know what the train schedule was.
So here's my point. You guys did the 30 or 45 minute
Right.
version, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you could go back again and you would not be
Oh,
bored, and you could maybe even go to some of the same places, except instead of going by the Statue of Liberty, what is it called, Bedloe Island or something, you get off and you go up and into the Torch or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of that came down to, like, we could have gone up in the Empire State Building, we could have gone out to the Statue of Liberty, and a lot of it came down to money. I mean, we were willing to pay to go out to the Statue of Liberty. They were out of tickets to go up to the Crown the day that we went, which is why we didn't. It's like $40 to go to the top of the Empire State Building, though, and it was like, I feel just as fine. It would be cool to go up, but I'm fine with looking at the Empire State Building and being like, oh, that's cool.
That's the way I feel
you know?
about, I don't know, to me it's a Sears Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool to go up there, but having been there once, I could do without it.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, we barely touched Central Park.
Yeah.
I think you could
Central
spend
Park
2
is
entire
huge.
days
Sure.
in Central Park. There's so much there.
but you had the experience.
It was cool.
So now you can say I did it.
Yeah.
Well, or if you go back again, you can say, yeah, I kind of know my way around.
Yeah, you don't have that initial feeling of, okay, how does the transportation system work here?
Yeah, well, it was like the first day we were there when we were there on our own. We didn't really do that. We didn't really go that many places because we kind of stayed around Times Square because Broadway's right there, and it was just kind of like we
Yeah, and
we
my
were kind of wandering. We didn't really know what we were doing.
My
It was
recollection is that's where Grand Central Station is too.
It's a
right
few
in that
blocks away.
Yeah, a few blocks away, but it's all walkable.
Like,
And Central
You get
Park
off-
is just
And
a
Central
few
Park's
more
walkable,
blocks
too.
north.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never been to Central Park.
Yeah, we walked. I mean, we got off Grand Central the first day and walked everywhere. And then the second day, we took the subway because we had to go when we went down to the Statue of Liberty and the 9/11 Memorial. Those are both like on the south tip of Manhattan.
It was cool.
It was a lot of fun.
It was really fun.
I'm glad that we went.
Some really pretty architecture there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the mountains were beautiful on the drive. I mean, we some of the reason why we decided,
In Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania and the East Coast mountains everywhere.
Is it the Allegheny Mountains that go up through there?
I don't know. I just know that we didn't. Once we got past Ohio, we hardly drove through a piece of flat ground.
No. I'm curious. Huh?
The Appalachian Mountains come up there, don't they?
You got me.
I know they come up through
Well,
Virginia.
that's true. I've driven to Pennsylvania from around Michigan, so sort of around here. And that's right. I can remember coming into Pittsburgh, and there's a part of the highway where you look way down on the city, so that must be a big mountain.
It was really pretty
Forgot
that
about
when driving out there, we didn't see a lot of it because it was dark, but we did see the sunrise behind the mountains, which was super pretty.
It's funny. You saw the sunrise.
Uh-huh. We saw the sunset on the way back.
Well, that was good. A trip that actually went as planned,
Yes.
I think it
unlike
is
the other one.
the Appalachian Mountains. You reach up there. They go through New York.
Mm-hmm.
They stop right about at the state line for Vermont.
Hmm.
Yeah. Lots of hills, lots of ear popping.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was a pretty drive.
You don't really go through upstate New York, do you?
No.
You come through Pennsylvania and kind of.
Upstate New York is all mountains, a lot of ski resorts
Well,
up
I
there.
don't know that it's all mountains, but it sure is pretty. I used to do some business around there, and at one point I drove a triangle. I can't remember the cities now, but all in upstate New York. You know, these people were very prejudiced against the downstaters.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it was like a sinkhole for their taxes and stuff. So it's a different world up there, and it's neat.
Well, the Olympic skiing is held up there one year.
White Plains?
White Plains, yeah.
Yeah. White Plains is upstate.
Yeah, we were pretty south because we went through New Jersey for a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. New Jersey sort of fits parts of it.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because Pennsylvania is like most of the trip, and then we got out of Pennsylvania and it was like Jersey, New York, Connecticut, easy. Like 2 hours, done.
Yeah.
I drove across Delaware one time from south to north, and the guys with said, "Okay, don't blink." I mean, it was really, and it wasn't like we were just going through an arm of it. We went pretty much the whole state,
That was just
but it's
little.
only about that big.
Yeah. Especially when you're used to driving through this area.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ohio is like 5 hours, and then Pennsylvania is like 7 hours, and then everything else is like.
Now, Ohio doesn't have mountains, do they?
They had like definitely some hills.
It's definitely hillier than it is
Yeah, but
here.
not.
Well, we drove
Hills.
kind
You've been to Tahoe, Emily,
We
so you know what mountains
drove
are.
kind of their route
Yeah.
when we went from Lisbon all the way to Chicago. You know, when we went
Yeah.
and then flew to San Diego. That was pretty much their route. I think.
Well, they went through Columbus, they didn't go as far north as Cleveland.
They didn't go as far north, so someplace they split off.
It looks like
They didn't
the
start out as far north.
edge of the Appalachian Mountains kind of flow into Ohio. And kind of like coming down that terrain.
We don't know much about this part of the country.
Well, that's the East Coast. That isn't even this part of the country.
Well,
Yeah.
let's say outside of Nevada and in California.
Good time. Very fun.
Yeah, we had a really good time.
It's good to see Isaac.
Yeah, definitely.
So Isaac should be back today.
He's back.
He's back.
Yeah, they went to Indy to stay with his dad, but they got back an hour after we did, maybe. They were only a little bit behind us.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Well, you made a whirlwind trip of San Francisco and one a whirlwind trip of New York City.
Mm-hmm.
What's your impression of the two?
oh, she likes San Francisco much better. So,
I do.
No, enough said.
Yeah.
They're different, aren't they?
They're very different. I feel like if you had not been to the places, you would think they were similar
Yeah.
because they're just huge cities. Very different.
Well, San Francisco is actually a pretty small city, really, because it's so bounded by the peninsula. I don't know what the land area of New York City is, but you got all the boroughs and you got Manhattan,
Brooklyn
and you got
is
Long Island,
huge.
Long Island.
Yeah. I think, like, in my mind, that's just, like, the way I've always viewed kind of just cities in general, like big cities that I've never been to.
I think because of the density of the population that you see, I've always thought of New York City as being small. I don't think of it as a large city in land.
Well, I wonder, maybe
larger
it is. I mean,
population.
Manhattan Island isn't very big,
Yeah.
and yet there's
Brooklyn is
an
really
enormous
big.
population there, or at least during a workday. So I don't know.
And New York City is only one part of it.
New York is just big.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of land, it's got a lot of people,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It always looks so pretty in the winter, as long as you're looking at it on the TV screen.
So how do the subways work? I guess you can buy a pass, but you guys probably bought tokens. You have to buy tokens? And then
No,
put
they're like
tokens?
little, it's
Yeah,
this.
card.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like a BART card.
You
Mm-hmm.
swipe it. It was like $2.75 a ride.
Yeah.
I think pretty much all the modern systems work that way now. It's just it's too efficient. So you buy a card.
And then it was like $1 service fee to get the card.
Yeah.
And then we ended up having to reload it a little bit, so you just like reload the same card. And I think that if you got like if you like were using it a lot, like if you're using it every day, you can get a more solid card. Like my Chicago public transit card is this.
We've had these.
I think that if you're riding the subway regularly, because you could get like a new
Yeah.
there was an option to get like a more permanent card, I think. So.
What did we have for a ticket when we had the Eurail pass?
Oh God, I don't remember, but that was way before the digital age.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was just a paper ticket of some kind.
I just don't have any recollection of having to show anything at all.
But you look at the Chicago thing, and the New York thing, and our Clipper cards in San Francisco, and they're all the same technology. It's
Yeah.
a magnetic card. You swipe it or touch it to the pad on your way in, and it's all taken care of.
This is nice because I have this wallet case, and I keep my card in here, so in Chicago I can just like push, I can just like set this on the scanner.
Yeah.
Oh, it
and
reads it right through it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a
So
lot
I
of people,
never have to take it
a lot
out.
of people do that on BART. You see them just take their whole wallet out.
Uh-huh.
And there are all your credit cards, magnetically challenged credit cards.
But the cards that you do that with are chip cards.
Now?
They're not magnetic.
Now they're chip.
No, I'm not talking about credit cards. I'm talking about your Clipper card or those
Yeah.
things. They're little transponders.
when-
That's different.
When you have a credit card in your wallet and you just put your wallet on there, it doesn't demagnetize your credit card?
Nope.
We actually did have a problem when we were in San Francisco, and we had a magnetic card for the hostel, and our card stopped working like 2 days into our trip. And I don't know if it was because of that problem or if it was just a weird fluke, but it stopped working.
Did you get BART cards or did you get
We got Clipper cards.
Clipper cards? Yeah. Well, the Clipper card has a chip. Our Clipper cards are pretty thicker than credit cards, maybe the thickness of 2 credit cards. But you can also get a BART card. Remember when we used to just get BART cards for individual rides?
Yeah.
And those were magnetic, like a
Yeah.
credit card. And you'd stick it into the machine and
I have
feed
one
it.
of those.
You could
So
do
it's
something with it.
a little bit of money on it.
So I guess they have the 2 technologies. But the chip, the thick Clipper card should not demagnetize other cards because it's RF, radio frequency. It's not magnetic. 2 different
Just been a
technologies.
fluke, really.
2 different technologies.
So you're ready for school again?
I am. Miranda's not.
Getting closer. Maybe by the
You
time
better
it
be
starts,
getting
I'll be
ready.
ready.
It's going to happen whether you're ready or not.
Have you been working 40 hours a week?
No. I work probably like 25 hours, I would say.
How's it been going with Richie for the summer?
don't want to be there anymore, but you know, I'm trying to make it through the last month. Emily's my little saving grace, but she's not there, so I just have to deal with Richie by myself.
Well, it's just about, oh no, it's not over till August, is it?
Well, we move out July 31st.
Yeah.
How are you going to orchestrate this, Emily, for not getting into a new place? And
Mom's getting us a storage unit.
Oh,
She and Patrick are going to be out of town the day that we move, so they're getting us a storage unit and they're getting us a truck.
oh nice.
And then we just need to recruit people to help actually move stuff.
I think my dad's gonna come help us.
oh, that's good.
I think Isaac's going to have the day off. I'm going to try to talk Austin into come in, help him.
Well, that's his job now.
Yeah.
So he should be really good at it.
Right.
Is that what he's doing for a job?
Yeah, he's working with a moving company.
It's like a pretty awesome business, it seems
Yeah,
like.
seems like he's making good money.
Yeah.
That's hard work.
Yeah. Well, it's this. He said this company like tends to move. Like they've moved a couple of Colts players, and like they tend to move like big name people in the city, and so they get paid like a base rate, and then a lot of the time these guys who are like really wealthy who they're moving will just hand them, you know, $100 at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what we did with our movers.
You're
Right,
supposed to.
Give them at the end.
Right, but since a lot of these guys have like money, they will hand them like tips, like big tips. So it seems like he's making good money, and he's getting paid even when they're not moving stuff. So if he's working, you know, 9 to 5 or whatever it is, if they only have one move all day and then they have 3 hours where they don't have anything to do, they have this like warehouse where they've got like a basketball court and video games, and they get to just like hang out, and he gets paid to do that
Leave it
too.
to Austin to find that kind of
I
job. He and Isaac.
Yeah, but
I know,
when
man.
they're working, that's hard work. And those guys with their size and their strength, that would, you know, they could do it. But
I would put a lot of wear on my body.
ordinary people, that would be tough.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just dropped out of school and works there forever.
Well, that's what I was thinking. The money can start to look awfully good.
Yeah.
There's a danger in making good money
So
if you're in school.
you think his is kind of a high-end moving company?
That's what he's made it sound like. I don't know. I don't really know anything about it other than what he's told me.
Well, that's interesting. Because, you know, most of the moving guys, well, not that I have a lot of experience, but the ones I've seen and seen around here, they're all black. And I wonder if a high-end moving company is high-end because they have white guys doing the moving. Does that sound awfully racist?
Yeah.
Yes, it sounds
That
racist.
sounds like something that would happen, though.
Some of the wealthy guys that are moving are black.
That sounds like.
It sounds like something that would happen.
Well,
That's how you position yourself.
we went to a diner around the area where Isaac was staying, and I couldn't help but notice that we parked right by a car shop where it was all black guys working, and we went to the restaurant and it was all Mexican people working there, and everyone in the restaurant was white. And I don't know if that was just coincidence, or if it was because it's a very nice neighborhood and that's kind of the way things work there.
It's kind of like living here, except for a couple of people. Everybody's white, but everybody working outside here is Mexican.
It's just systematic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I don't think anyone would intentionally make that happen now, but.
Well, and the crappy thing is that it like started out very intentional, and it's just like really hard. Like in history, it's just like
for it
really
to
hard.
Switch.
It's really hard to get out of that once it's been
Part of
started.
it is the white people are not willing to work as hard. They don't want the hard work jobs.
No.
And so they then end up in black people or Hispanics
No.
who are willing to work for the money.
I don't know.
It's a rigged economy.
If Trump,
Just like the man
if
says.
Trump sends all the Mexicans back to Mexico, they're going to have a hard time finding employment because the white people don't want to do those jobs.
Yeah.
Even if we have an unemployment rate that's high,
Yeah.
it isn't like white people are going to jump in and say, "I'll clean that toilet."
Right. Yeah, there have been experiments or just maybe natural experiments where like somebody's tried to hire farm workers and by and large, the whites won't apply for the jobs at
Yeah.
those rates. So if we send all the undocumented immigrants back, who's going to do that work?
Also,
Yeah.
more, I think it's just kind of funny that more Mexicans are leaving America than coming in.
That's
Yeah,
because
It's made
their,
it this huge thing.
their economy is prospering a bit more now than it was. Because, like, the air conditioning company from here that went to Mexico, that provides a lot of jobs down there, and
Well-
they're decent paying.
And a lot of it too is that they feel discriminated against.
Yeah.
So you're right. The
Oh yeah, I
net,
probably would leave too.
the net immigration
Or they put me on a
across the
bus, I'll
southern
just get on
border is
on the bus
negative.
myself.
Yep.
We have one more week to go before we know who got paid to be the VP candidate with Trump. I think that's what he's going to have to do, is pay somebody to do
I
it.
don't. Yeah, I
There-
don't know. They
Somebody's going to draw the short straw and
Yeah.
to be the VP.
The leading contender just today announced that he doesn't want the job.
really. Who is it? Who was that?
Cole
Corker?
Corker, yeah, Senator Corker.
So apparently, there's rumors that Mitch Daniels is on that list.
Yeah, he's on the list supposedly.
Mitch Daniels?
Terrible.
No.
Mike Pence.
No,
Mike
Pence,
Pence.
Pence
That's
is
what I
on the
meant.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Daniels. I haven't heard about Daniels for a long time.
Pence is on the list, and what's his name from New Jersey? That's now
Fat
following,
boy,
Christie.
Chris
Yeah.
Christie.
Yeah.
following him around like a puppy dog. Palin has campaigned with him a couple times, but she hasn't been mentioned as the VP candidate.
I don't think he would pick a woman.
Well, there was
Or he
talk
would,
of
just
him picking
by-
Carly Fiorina
Uh-huh.
because he wanted a woman.
Well,
Makes him seem like he's not a sexist.
Try to take some women's votes away from Hillary.
Yeah, but he's also gonna lose some votes of the sexists.
Who also were not.
Yeah.
Could I have a drink? No?
yeah. What do you want?
What do you have?
We have.
We
That-
have
that
water,
for
some
sure.
kind of pop. We have beer. You want beer?
No, thank you.
Is there some Sprite or something here? I thought there was.
Well, certainly we have Diet Coke, but I don't know what other kind of
I
soda.
thought we had Sprite that Emily had.
Can I turn off the video camera?
Yeah.